What's up, everybody, and aloha. Thank you all Hawaiians, both near, far, and everywhere in between. Thank you for coming back. I am your host, Kalei2K, and this is my podcast, a Hawaiian podcast. That's A with a EH. And of course, it is a Hawaiian podcast because I am a Hawaiian. But anyways, thank you guys for tuning in again. Hope you guys enjoyed the past episodes. I just want to apologize. I haven't put up a lot of shorts. Just been real busy with things coming up, family emergencies, unannounced things, whatever it may be, and a little bit of laziness, but I'm just going to be honest with you. But I do appreciate those of you who do view my YouTube page, or those of you who have listened to me on Spotify. Thank you so much. And I'm doing my best to try and be more consistent, so on and so forth. This is something new for me, but I'm working on it, getting better. But other than that, though, thank you so much for coming back. Hope you guys... hope you guys had a great week, to be honest with you. Hope you guys are able to take what I share with you, some sort of manao or, I'm drooling. Some sort of manao or some sort of tip, maybe just something that can lighten up your mood a little bit. That's why I made this whole podcast thing, to share my thoughts, to maybe something I'm going through. You might be going through it at the same time. We can share that bond together, or maybe something I've been through that might be able to lighten up your day, and you can be like, oh, maybe I'll take this approach. Okay, so that's the whole reason why I do this. I'm not getting paid for this. This is just something that I enjoy doing, and whatever happens with this happens. But I really do enjoy it, and I treat it like it's another job of mine. So thank you, folks, for viewing and listening. Let's get right into it. We're going to kick it off with a mana'o moment. And like I said, there have been some crazy stuff that's happened this week. Recently, my daughter, I shared this on the last episode, that my kids had a dentist appointment and they got a checkup. And so they all had problems with their teeth. Regardless, whatever it is, they had problems with their teeth. But then, recently, my number 2 child, she had to go in for mouth surgery, dental surgery. Not only did she have cavities, the doctor says they want to cut the top of her lip, and help her with her growth of her teeth and her gums, because they're afraid that they're going to get short teeth like me, and they're going to try and help prevent some of the gapping, because my teeth are small, they have gaps. I mostly have gums, whereas my wife has big, beautiful teeth, compared to me, of course. So my whole thing from the beginning of when my wife explained what was going to happen, I was like, so is this just a cosmetic, like, outer appearance thing, or is it like, because is it a big medical issue? Like, for example, like, I haven't done research on this, but there's a saying that in my family, or with a lot of cultures, is your teeth can also tell you how well your heart is doing. Some people appear, like, in their skin complexion, some people appear more yellow. That's usually like a liver problem, stuff like that. Like, your body tells you what's going on with your, what's wrong. So I wanted to know, like, does my daughter have a condition that's going to get worse? Is it like, or is it like where her teeth are going to rot and they're just going to fall out if she doesn't get this procedure? But mostly it was just cosmetic. Of course, cavities. And when my wife was explaining to me about the cavities, my brain started clicking and saying, okay, so if we're going to take care of my child's baby teeth as cavities, and they're going to grow to be pushed out so that her adult teeth can come in, why do I need to do the surgery on her teeth now? That was my thought. And then I thought deeper into it. Maybe if it keeps having cavities, it keeps rotting, it could ruin the gums, which then could ruin the roots and the root canal and all this stuff. It could cause more problems. So I was like, okay, maybe I shouldn't think like that. Just let that go and just move forward. Because that's how I see it. I try to see, what's an alternative view to things. And sometimes that helps me. Sometimes it backfires against me, especially in arguments. But anyways, my daughter's doing okay. And but the surgery, this is the crazy thing about it. Okay, so this surgery didn't take place at a dentist's office. Like the dentist that my wife had visited, It wasn't occurring at that doctor's office. It was actually occurring. It took place at a specific dental surgery facility. So it was new to my wife. It was new to my kids. It was definitely new to me. Ouch, that's hot. Oh, sorry. I've been drinking tea, and it's my own concoction. I don't have a tea packet or anything like that. It's hot water with 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, 1 tablespoon of honey, and then a couple splashes of Tabasco, and that's it. It does help. It does feel good. I think it's helping to clean out a lot of the oils that I intake throughout the day, but I'm not going to talk about that till later. So back to my daughter's surgery. So this facility is a new place. We've never experienced it before, never been there before, so we're kind of like, okay, what the hell do we expect, right? Now, the day before the surgery takes place, this facility, the receptionist or whoever's scheduling my daughter's surgical procedure, calls my wife and I to schedule times. We waited the whole week. All my kids had a dentist appointment weeks ago, and then we waited until we knew what time it was going to be. We knew it was going to be on a Friday, but we didn't know what the timing was going to be about, right? So we wait. Thursday, the day before the surgery, they call my wife. Hey, this is the facility now. It's not the dentist. The facility calls and says, hey, be there at 7:15 in the morning. Okay, no problem. We'll be there. My wife calls me, lets me know that, hey, they call my wife to say, be there at 7:15. My wife says, okay. She informs me, says, babe, we have to be there at 7:15. By the way, I'm not allowed to bring the other children inside to wait in the recovery room or wherever, the lobby, whatever it may be. I'm not allowed to wait with them in there. So you're going to have to come and take the kids. Or you're going to have to be with them with the kids because, we don't have anybody that can watch our 2 other children while, our 3rd baby is getting her surgery done. So I'm like, okay, don't worry. I'll text my boss, my supervisor, whatever. We'll work it out. We'll figure it out. So she tells me, by the way, it's also at 7 in the morning. So I was like, okay, no problem. I'm thinking, all right, 7 o'clock, we'll get there early. We, maybe a couple hours, maybe like 10-ish, 10:30-ish, we'll be out of there, right? And I'll be able to go back to work, do some of my job at least, so I can get paid for somewhat of the day, and then, call it a day, right? Just have like maybe half a work day, right? That didn't happen. And I will tell you why. Doctors call my wife, 7:15, wife calls me, informs me, I call out of work. The facility then calls me, because they can't get a hold of my wife at this point, call me and say, oh, we're going to change it to 8:15. All right, no problem. I inform my wife it's got to be 8:15. She says, okay, that's fine. Then they call my wife like about an hour or an hour and a half later and says, oh, we're going back to 7:15. My wife is like, okay, that's fine too. And at this point, they can't even get the scheduling down as to when we're going to have this damn thing performed. And now there's stress. Now there's anxiety. Now negative thoughts start creeping in. Of course, at the beginning it was slightly there, but now that they can't even get the scheduling down, we start freaking out a little bit, especially my wife. So the next day comes, we wake up early, kids are ready, dressed, we throw them in the car with their blankets, they're still sleeping. And by this time, my second daughter, who's got to go get the surgery, she's nervous and she had a hard time, trying to fall asleep the night before. But she knows what has to happen. She knows it has to take place. It's not like we're just springing it on her and like, surprise, you got to get a surgery. No, we're not doing that. So we get to the facility, right? And I'm about to complain about them because this is crap. We get there early. We get to the receptionist. We sign in, all that stuff. My 2 other girls are relaxing, sleeping. My number 2 child goes with my wife, and they go with their nurse into the back. Do the weight, do the height, check her up, vital signs, all this little, all this pre-surgery stuff takes place. And poor thing, my daughter couldn't eat for at least 8 to 9 hours prior to the surgery, which is sad for her, but she was tough. She fought through that whole part. So now it's my wife and my number 2 child in the waiting area, I guess, of the hospital part of the facility, whatever, just waiting for the nurse to do her checkups and this and that. The nurse ends up talking to my wife and says, "Oh, you guys are here early. Why are you here so early?" My wife says, "Oh, they said that it was, we had to be here at 7:15. She goes, "Oh, no, did the dentist tell you that, or did the reception tell you that?" I said, "No, the facility receptionist told me that." This is what my wife is saying. The nurse says, "Oh, the doctor's not going to be here till later." What? Now even more stress and anxiety is added to whatever the hell is going on at this point. My wife texts me. She's nervous. She's scared. And I'm just like, I can't control anything. I can't do anything about that. Because as much as I want to get mad, the doctor's still going to come in whenever the doctor comes in. He's late. He's already late. Okay? So we're there early. We wait for another whole hour. Then the doctor comes in, talks to my wife, and says, "Oh, you're not able to come with us as we put your daughter down with anesthesia." And so my wife is, again, nervous. She's crying. She's trying to be strong, but all this anxiety, all this sadness is coming in, all this negative energy is flowing through her body. And she's trying to resist that from falling onto my child as she's getting ready to do surgery. So my wife puts up this video, and for those of you who saw the video, friends, family, thank you for responding. Thank you for checking up on our daughter. Thank you for just calling to see if she's okay. Thank you for commenting. She was strong. Everything went well. Well, my wife at that moment is trying to tell my daughter, "Remember, baby, you are strong." Repeat after me. "I am strong. I am love. I am courageous. I am brave. I am smart. I am lanai." She just keeps reiterating this to give her the confidence and strength she needs. But at the same time, my wife needs it too, right? So I'm pissed, but I can't do anything. I'm trying to watch my 2 other girls, right? The doctors come, explain whatever, "Oh, this is what's going to happen, this and that, sign this form." They grab my daughter, put her in a little wagon wheel thing, whatever. And she says, "Okay, Mom, I'll be okay." Gets into the car and she starts taking off. My wife looks back and my daughter is just sitting there. From what my wife is explaining, she's just sitting there going along for the ride. My 2-year-old baby. And for us not to be there to hold her hand while she falls asleep, or to be by her side as she's, going underneath anesthesia, is tough. Because this is big for us. We don't know what's going to happen. This is our child. Not just an adult child, not a teenager. This is a 2-year-old child of ours. The last time we had to go through something like this was not as crazy. And this was for my first daughter, India. Like I've said in multiple episodes before, my daughter India has short fingers, missing toes, all that stuff. But prior to how she looks now, her fingers were webbed. She had skin connecting her fingers and they hurt. They were hurting her because her fingers were trying to grow and separate, and the skin was ripping. Slowly and surely, but surely was ripping. So we had to get surgery on her hands at Shriners Hospital up north in Salt Lake City. We were happy that we were able to be there. Of course, we were sad for the event because we were nervous for our daughter. We didn't know what was going to happen. But I loved going to Shriners because they had us there the whole way, all the way up until she fell asleep. All the way up until, okay, now it's time for us to do the surgery. They asked us, what can we do? Can we get her a doll? Does she have a favorite blanket? Does she have a favorite movie? Does she have a favorite song? They played "You Are My Sunshine" over and over and over again for my daughter to keep her calm. It was not about the procedure. It was about the child. It was not about how fast can I do this. It was about how comfortable can I make this child so that she doesn't wake up scared. She doesn't come into the anesthesia afraid, filled with fear and anxiety. That didn't happen for my number 2 child at this other facility in Provo, over by Riverwood. I'm going to put it out. I'm just going to say what it is. It's over by Riverwood, Provo, by the canyon, back towards the canyon part. And it sucks. It sucks because I know what it's like to be the middle child. And it feels like it's a curse Especially now, my daughter being 2 years old, being the middle child, doesn't get the same comfortable treatment as my older daughter. Doesn't get the same, oh, my parents are going to be there with you when you fall asleep underneath medication. So it stressed us out. And of course we were sad. Not only that, when they brought her back to us, her mouth was all bloody. The doctor said, oh, I cut under her tongue. I saw 3 other cavities. I took care of that too. There was just blood all in her mouth. They're like, oh, and if it keeps bleeding, just have her spit it out and just pat her mouth. Like, it felt so incomplete. It felt so inconsiderate. It felt like, okay, let me just fix this flat tire real quick and you're on your way. Not, oh, let me care for your baby. Is there a doll we can bring her? Is there, or call us up, hey, bring a couple of toys, something, anything to keep your child calm. Let us play the tablet for her while she falls asleep. Let us, and it's stuff like that, little things. Okay, we understand you have a job. We understand you have a busy lifestyle. But when you're dealing with children, okay, these children have no idea what the hell is going on. They don't even know how to pronounce the word surgery. My daughter understands what teeth are. But kids, they don't have to understand words to feel what the hell is going on around them. Especially when mommy and daddy aren't around. And they're going off with doctors in masks, in uniform blue suits with gloves on, covering most of their body. I'm a 2-year-old child. I'm an adult, and that kind of freaks me out. Imagine a 2-year-old child. Where's my mom? Where's my dad? Who are you guys? There's a lot of you. There's more than 2 of you here. I don't know any of you. I can't see your face. All I see is your eyes and your gloves and your uniforms covering your faces. What? And now I'm sleeping. What's going to happen to me? So all that thought was going through my head, and I'm like, I can't do anything. I cannot do anything because I just feel so restricted. But I felt for my daughter. And so when she did come back to us, they kind of just like, oh, here she is, pat her teeth, this and that. And, when she's done, she might not recognize you right away while she's waking up from the anesthesia. She might be screaming and crying and stuff, but it'll pass with a couple hours. Just got to keep her comfortable. I'm like, with what? You left my wife with a chair, a reclining chair, and what? Nothing for my daughter. There's no comfortable bed that she can sit in. At Shriners, my daughter had a whole bed to herself. Do you need more pillows? That's what they are. Do you need more pillows? Where can we put more pillows? Do you need another doll? Here's a doll. Congratulations. Like all this stuff. Music, toys, anything that my daughter needed at Shriners Hospital, they gave it to her. They helped her feel comfortable, especially when she woke up. She woke up and couldn't see her fingers. She didn't freak out as much as my daughter that had to get her dentistry work done. My oldest daughter at Shriners woke up from the anesthesia, and yeah, she was crying. She was sad because she couldn't see her hands. But she wasn't screaming her head off and distraught. She didn't have any anxiety. And the doctors might say that, oh, they're just, my lanai, my number 2 child, my lanai is coming out of anesthesia, and oh, it's just the anesthesia wearing off. No. Kids feel, kids remember. They might not be able to express it verbally, how they feel, but you can see it on their face. You can see it when they're, they can feel it around them. So not only is it she's coming out of this sleeping medication, she's remembering what she felt, and all that's rushing back to her right away. That's how I felt when I saw my daughter crying her head out, bloody mouth, like she had been in a bar fight. Screaming, I can't feel my tongue. She would sit there, watch her Spider-Man show, and just scream, I can't, Mom, my tongue, Mom. And we would have to tell her, we have to calm her down. And tell her, calm down, baby. It'll be okay. Calm down, Lanai. Just breathe. It'll be okay. We're almost done. Can we get you a popsicle? Can we get you anything? What are we supposed to do? We did all that we could. And thankfully, we've got a tough-ass kid. Because as we were able to leave the hospital a few hours later, I wasn't able to go to work. because of all the delays and all the whatever crap happened. So on my way out, I decided to steal some juice. There was a refrigerator that said patience only. I grabbed whatever I wanted out of there. I grabbed soda, juices for my kids. I was like, I'm grabbing all of this. Because you're not going to tell me what you did to my kid was okay, because it wasn't. And the fact that the doctor cut under her tongue, which we didn't know he was going to do. We thought he was just going to do the cavities and the top lip. Then he found 3 more cavities. He's like, oh, I'm going to do those too. And he just did them. Now, we don't know if we're going to get charged for it. I would hope we don't. But if we do, you're going to hear it on this podcast. I tell you that much. Okay, so, and like I said, we were doing our best to keep her calm. We were doing our best to show her support. I took off of work. And when we went, we're trying to do our best to make our daughter come, because obviously the facility wasn't going to help us. So we're talking to Lanae and we're like, okay, baby, let's get you ready. We'll put you in your Spider-Man shirt. She loves Spider-Man. Okay, loves Spider-Man and his amazing friends. So she loves Spider-Man, Ghost Spider, and Spin, or Miles Morales, the Spider-Man. And she watches it on Disney Plus over and over and over. That's her show. She'll watch the same 10 episodes over and over and over, right? So I put her in a Spider-Man shirt. The next day, my older daughter has a Spider-Man shirt. My baby girl has a Spider-Man shirt. My wife has her Spider-Man shirt, and I have a Venom shirt. That's the only shirt that I had. I didn't have a Spider-Man shirt. But we did that, and we showed it to her after she came out of the surgery. We said, look, baby, we're all wearing Spider-Man. We're all here to support you as a family. We're all Spider-Man. And she was happy. She was happy, and I told my wife, we're going to go get her a toy. We're going to go get her a toy after her surgery because she deserves it. And it's just to keep her calm, just to tell her, good job. Congratulations, Lana, you beat it. You conquered it. And that's what we did. But here's the special part about my daughter. Oh, crap, I'm freaking crying. Here's the special part about my daughter. She bought a toy. She bought a Spider-Man toy that had 3 characters on it. So she could play with her 2 sisters. She could have bought a remote control car. She could have bought a Spider-Man action figure. She could have bought any Spider-Man thing. I was willing to drop whatever she wanted. Drop whatever money I needed to drop for her to have a toy. But she found this toy that had Spider-Man on a car, Spin on a car, and Ghost Spider on a car. And she wanted that toy. She wanted that set so that she could play with her sisters. And her sisters who were crying while she was crying. Her sisters who were there, who saw her bloody mouth, who were holding her and hugging her and kissing her to comfort her. Lana goes and wants this toy so she can play with her sisters. Oh, kids, man. Kids, they're so special. And you know what I learned from this is how strong kids are. We may think, oh, they need our help, they need this. No. I believe that if you've been a good parent and you've taught all that you can, there's a moment where you gotta let them go. Sad to say, it was at that moment when she's only 2 years old, but she didn't look back. She said, it's okay, I'll be okay. And she went. And it goes to show that kids, they'll astonish you no matter what you try to do. A lot of times they'll repeat what you say, but they will amaze you at how much courage they have when you feed them courage. How much wisdom they will gain when you feed them wisdom. How much strength they will have when you feed them strength. That I do believe. And I saw it that day, and I enjoyed it. I love it, and to this day I love it because my kids are amazing, man. My kids are amazing. And she seems to be doing fine now. Talking, yelling, running, like nothing happened. We're still monitoring her teeth, of course, because we got to wash it out. Make sure, no food gets stuck in there, no candy, no sticky stuff that can get caught on her teeth, because we don't want to have to pull them out or cause more problems. And then we're supposed to get it checked up again in a couple weeks. So other than that, though, she's doing fine. She's doing great. And yeah. Sorry I got emotional on that, people. It just that was such a big thing that happened for us, and for me especially. And it just blows my mind how great of a person my daughter is. I'm drinking this tea because I'm starting to drink tea after dinner to kind of just flush out my system. It seems to be working. I am still tired. It's not helping with my tiredness, but I do feel like not as sluggish, I guess you could say, in the morning. I get up, of course I have aches and pains, but then I'm able to use the bathroom, flush everything out, and then just go about my day. So far so good. I think I made it too hot. I didn't put enough cold water in here, so I'm gonna have to put this on the side for now. But yes, I do feel that facility was a bunch of dummies, bunch of idiots who run that place. I wish they had better receptionists, better communication. That was the thing, better communication. And one of the biggest things that I could have honestly say that I've learned from this experience is that you don't know how you, as a parent, as a guardian, you don't know how much you impact this child's life until you see them walk their own path. And that's what happened for us at 2 years old. My wife fed our daughter courage, strength, love, bravery, all the way until she had to go, to the point where she was okay to go by herself. Whew, kids amaze me, man. Okay, so let me see if I can lighten this up a little bit. Okay, we got a couple more minutes before I got to go into my next subject. I'm going to talk about Netflix, because Netflix has some great shows that's going on right now. We just finished The Last Kingdom with Uhtred, the warrior, the Viking Dane warrior / Christian. It's a great show. It takes a while. There's a lot of dialogue, but you get embedded in it. You just see that this guy goes through crap after crap after hell after crap and hell over and over and over just to achieve the one thing he's always wanted, which was his home. He's lost loved ones. He's lost best friends. His kids think the worst of him. He tries to serve and serve and serve. He's been stabbed in the back, erased from history, brought back into the history books, and towards the end, I fell in love with the show, because even though this guy has lost so many people he's cared for, been stabbed in the back so many times, has had to fight his own people, the people who, he was raised in their culture, their beliefs. He became a strong believer in this culture. He doesn't even call himself a Saxon. He calls himself a Dane. All of his ventures, hardships, brokenhearted, loss of friends that he wishes he could have in his life at the very end, all of that, he still kept going. He had one focus. And even though there were mountains, freaking boulders thrown in his path, he still kept pushing forward till he achieved his goal. And all he wanted was to bring peace. Eventually, when he finds his home and he reclaims what is rightfully his, he's brought peace to 2 different beliefs and an Irishman. That was the thing, is all of his travels he found guys who were loyal, the outcasts of their families. He went from being a slave to being a lord, and eventually nearly a king, a war captain, a colonel, whatever you want to call him. That's what he became in the end. But everyone knew who he was. And when he had those who were loyal to him, he took care of them. And at a drop of a dime, they would sacrifice their life for him. That's what I loved about his companions, about his loyal friends, his loyal warriors. They would ride with him. If he would be awake for 3.5 days, they would be awake for 3. If he was going to stay away, if he was going to fight 1,000, they were going to fight 1,001. They were willing to kill as many people to protect him, and he was willing to do the same for them. And he never threatened them, sometimes couldn't pay them, but they said, your loyalty means more to them than anything else. Because these men who are outcasts, who are bastards of their own families, found a home with him, found someone that they could love, and eventually found their own wives and had children and families of their own. And they could counsel with him. And he was a man that could hear what they were saying and take into account what they were saying and honor them and listen to their counsel. And one was a Viking, one was a Christian, Protestant, Saxon Christ believer, and he listened to them. Everybody at his side had the right to speak, because their lives were on the line just as his were. And no matter what happened, they would leave their families without a doubt and go and fight by his side. Every quest he went on, every venture, every turmoil that he faced, they were there. And that's what I love so much about The Last Kingdom with Uhtred. I love it. I wasn't a big Viking fan at first. I am in love with this show. And then now there's another show called Vikings Valhalla. And it's not a continuation, but the timeline itself comes after. So after the Saxons and Danes, establish England, now there's turmoil once again. But this time, those who are of Dane blood, a lot of them have become Saxon Christ believers, and they're fighting their own people. So it's a big hectic thing, but I want to see how it goes. We just started this show, so hopefully we can get deeper into it. The next thing that I saw was actually an upcoming show called Hustle by Netflix, starring Adam Sandler, Queen Latifah, and I believe it's Justin Timberlake, but I didn't get a good look. But basically it's about this coach. Adam Sandler plays this coach who's in one of the European countries. He finds, and he's part of the NBA. So this is like the B League or whatever, the European League, and he finds this gem of an athlete, and he has sacrificed years away from his family, time that he can't get back, to pursue this gem that he's been looking for. He eventually finds this guy, convinces him to come to America, to try out for the league, all this stuff. Everything happens, and just the process. I like how I'm really excited about this movie. One, because I like how Adam Sandler has gotten to be, he's funny, of course, everybody loves his movies, but he's taking on roles that are more dramatic, more the evolution of him as an actor, everything else like that. This is the cool part. I love this part about him. And the fact that he's trying, in the story, he's trying to bring this guy up from this European country, whatever type of country it is, that has nothing. And this man is sacrificing just as much as Adam Sandler is sacrificing to become a superstar, to become a paid professional athlete. And the journey it takes for this man to become that. Because this guy is losing out time on his family, his wife, and his child, that he would rather be with them than have to go through this. But Adam Sandler is telling him, this will change your life. If you love this game as much as I love this game, this will be everything you'll ever need. And so this is just the journey, and I just want to see it because I want to see how everything blows out. And I don't have a personal connection to the movie itself, but I have met two gentlemen who did play overseas basketball, overseas professional basketball. One of them is, I think he was like 6'10", 6'11", somewhere around there, by the last name Knighting. And there's another gentleman, 6'9", 6'10" as well, named Laszlo. These two guys I met in Vegas while I was a missionary. Laszlo was somebody we had taught the gospel lessons to, and he eventually got baptized. But this dude was huge, handsome dude, man. Just real tall, real skinny. He wasn't like Shaq, like built and framed out and whatever, had a lot of mass to him. But he was tall, skinny, played basketball, of course, because if you didn't, what would you be doing at 6'10"? Swimming. But not only that, he was Hungarian. So he's got that Russian, he's got like a deep Russian vibe, but he's got that tan brown skin, and he always rocked that one hoop earring with curly hair. Man, this dude was gangster looking. And when he would dress up, he'd have like this nice leather jacket, long slacks, nice shoes. I'm like, yo, you could hide a shotgun in the back of your back, and he could literally pull out a full shotgun. Like, this is how tall this dude's back was. It was ridiculous. And then, of course, Mr. Knighting was this big white guy, wide shoulders. Just anytime they walked and talked together, everybody looked like midgets around there. Everybody looked like little people. Everybody looked tiny. I looked tiny compared to these dudes. And it was just so cool. And yes, they both played professional basketball overseas in the European countries. But the craziest thing was that Laszlo was a classical /jazz pianist. He would listen to a song and just ding 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 ding. It was like, what? And his fingers were so tall and so long. It was like watching Jack Skellington play the piano keys. It looked like he had two human beings dancing on the keys but they were his fingers. It was just that big. That's how massive this dude's hands were. Beautiful music, beautiful, beautiful culture. Him coming from Hungary and just sharing his culture a little bit with us, and his love of music and whatnot. So it was great. And when those two gentlemen would walk around, it was Herman Munster and Lurch from Addams Family. That's it. It was just Herman Munster and Lurch walking around. Two gigantic human beings that just towered over everybody. They looked like twin towers, literally, walking around. It was gorgeous. It was beautiful. All right. Oh, I'm starting to run over my time. Okay. So let's get over into the next segment of my podcast. It's news to me. All right. So here comes Bionic Girl. So speaking of my daughter being tough, here's another girl that's been tough. They call her the Bionic Girl, according to the HuffingtonPost.co.uk. So there's this little girl, it's about 7 years old. Her name is Olivia Farnsworth, that doctors are naming the Bionic Girl because of her strange and rare genetic makeup. Little Olivia has a rare chromosome 6 deletion, which gives her some amazing abilities. Here's one of them. She can't feel any pain. No pain at all. She has little to no hunger, and she has little to no need for sleep. Crazy. So Olivia's mom, she's Nikki. She said this is how crazy it's been. Okay, so the mom was explaining that when Olivia was smaller, she didn't really sleep. So she was up for days and days and days at a time, which means mom's got to be up for days and days at a time. She didn't really feel pain. She didn't really cry. And when the mom said when she would yawn after days of being awake, she was like, finally, she's going down. Okay, so she didn't really feel too much pain. She didn't really feel pain as a child growing up in there. So the mom kind of knew that her little Olivia was weird, was strange, not weird, strange, was different from her other children. And it's okay to be different. But this is how she knew she was really, really different, okay? So the mom says Olivia got run over and dragged down the street by a car, and she didn't even complain. Little 7-year-old gets hit by a car, dragged down the street, and says nothing, no complaints. The mom goes on to say Olivia was dragged about 10 car lengths down the road. It was horrendous. I don't think it's something I will ever get over. I was screaming, and all of my other children were screaming as they all ran out to check on Olivia. But Olivia was just like, what's going on? She just got up and started walking back to her mother. Because of the impact, she should have had severe injuries. The mom said that Olivia had a tire mark on her chest, but her only injuries were she had no skin on her toe and her hip. First of all, thank God that this baby girl did not get destroyed, did not get killed. The doctors were busy giving her CT scans, x-rays, trying to find injuries, but there was nothing. She was really, really lucky. No, she was blessed, let's put it that way. The doctors think that what saved her from the injury was she didn't tense up. And I didn't tense up on one moment, but I still feel like I got Knock the hell out, okay? So I'm going to share you my tense up, my non-tense up moment. Okay, so first of all, this little Olivia is a freaking superhero, okay? Doesn't feel pain, doesn't have to sleep for, 4 days at a time, just can't sleep, just awake. That's crazy. And she said the mom eventually goes on and says she didn't even have hunger issues. Like she would eat just to be social. Like she would eat and it would be like little to nothing. Just to be social because everybody else was eating, she felt like it was okay to just eat. But she wasn't hungry, she wasn't craving anything, and she didn't eat that much anyways. And this would be like days on end. So that's crazy. I would love to have that chromosome deficiency. But that's the positive that comes from it. I don't know if there's a negative that comes from it. So we'll see, maybe there might be. But for the most part, I would love to not feel pain. I would love to not have to be eating, because then I would love to not be weighing 300 plus pounds. And I would love to probably not have sleep apnea and asthma. Anyway, here's my tense up story, and then we'll go to the thought bucket. My brother was riding my moped. I borrowed a friend's longboard. I go and I'm like, okay, bro, I'm gonna hang on to you. You take the moped. Let's go home. He goes and gasses it to 30 miles an hour. Okay, now he's fine. Of course he's fine. I'm hanging on for dear life. Now the skateboard is wobbling like this, just shaking. Because it can't go it's not meant to go that fast. It's just a longboard to cruise, not a longboard to go down a freaking hill at 60 miles an hour. So we're on a flat ground surface, right? So we're going 30 miles an hour. There's a little hill. The thing is wobbling so bad. I'm like, I can't brake on it, because if I brake on it, I know for fact that's gonna flatten the back of this skateboard, this longboard, and it's gonna ruin it, which is not good. So I'm like, oh well, here we go. I bail out. I was like, don't tense up. And I just hit the ground like that. And I just lie there. This lady comes out like, oh, are you okay? Are you okay? My brother spins the moped around. He comes back to check on me. He's like, come on, Clay, get up. Get up, get up. And I'm like, I'm not going to get up. I'm laying there like this. No, I wasn't squealing or anything. But I just went, oh. And just boom, 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 boom. And I just laid there. And what I was doing was trying to feel my body, make sure that I could feel my toes, feel my legs, feel my back, feel my hands, that I could move. I had movement, right? So my brother's like, come on, Clay, get up, Clay, come on, man, I'm so sorry, get up. I was like, don't worry, I will get up. I don't want to get up, have a concussion and fall out. That's why I didn't want to fall down. So I took my time, I got up. Luckily, I wasn't that far away from my home. I walked home, showered, picked rocks out of my head, rocks out of my back, and had to get taped up. I feel like I got more injuries than this poor little girl who only had a little bit of skin missing from her toe and her hip. Rocks picked out, missing skin on my back, blood everywhere, knees scraped up, and I didn't tense up. That's my tense up story. Don't know how that works out, but I'm fine, to say the least. I'm here today sharing this with you. All right. So that's it for that. Let's get going with the thought bucket, and then we can close this out. I'm a little bit over time. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to keep these podcasts short. But here's my thought bucket. Thought bucket. Yeah. Okay. Oh, another who you got. Who you got, Clay? Gummy bears or gummy worms? Dang it. Okay. So here's the issue that I have. Sour gummy bears, don't care for them. Regular Haribo or Haribo, however you pronounce it, gummy bears, perfect. Sour gummy worms, perfect. Regular gummy worms, non-sour, junk. Lihimoy on both, perfect. Okay, that's my choice. So if I had regular gummy bears or sour gummy worms, I would choose the regular Haribo gummy bears. If I had Lihimoy gummy bears or Lihimoy gummy worms, I would have to choose the Lihimoy gummy worms. Okay? What am I lying? I'll probably just mix the both of them and eat them all. But anyways, that's my decision. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for another episode. That's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me close up real quick. Let me just go through this upcoming event. May 28th, I will be performing at Hapa's Ohana Barbecue Grill once again in Linden. So if you're viewing this, listening to this, whatever, you want to come and see how well I can perform as a musician, come on down. Follow my social media. They'll have links and addresses. I usually play from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., but stay tuned, focus on the Instagram because that's where I'll post it to let you guys know if it got canceled or whatnot. I'll try and be better at that as well. Go ahead and visit my milkshake website. It's located at msha.ke/Calais2K. There you can pull up a little website page, have a little profile of me, and on the bottom there'll be links that you can click on that'll go right to my social media accounts, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. Very simple, straight to the point. On YouTube and Instagram, if you want to watch this episode, all my episodes, I usually put a question up there, questions that we might have talked and addressed here on podcasts, and then room for you to ask me questions as well. So go ahead and follow that as well, and that's on Instagram and as well as my YouTube account. And then, of course, on Facebook, follow my Facebook page, like and subscribe to all my social media. Follow my Facebook page for episodes, for event coming up, where I might be performing, all that stuff. And then, of course, information to contact me if you like my music and you want me to perform for you as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you, folks, for joining in. My name is to another Hawaiian podcast. Take care. God bless. Remember, spread aloha, not hate. Take care, everybody. Aloha.